Hello there, let's talk about everything Star Wars related that is coming out next year, 2024. Let's start out with Skeleton Crew. Now, this is a show starring Jude Law as an unnamed Force user, along with a ragtag group of kids on a starship. Don't really know much more about it other than that. Now, I'm going to admit this is one of the shows that I'm probably the least amount of interest in, but it's mainly because I'm more excited for the other shows, just more than this one. But if this can hit those sort of Stranger Things vibes, where it's got kids in it, but it's not, kiddie, if that makes sense. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's just what I'm personally hoping for, those kind of vibes. Now, the showrunners are Christopher Ford and John Watts. Watts, of course, being the director of the Spider-Man trilogy in the MCU, Spider-Man Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home. Now, it's going to be set in the time period after Return of the Jedi, around the same time as The Mandalorian, because it's been confirmed that the pirate Vane that we saw in Season 3 is going to be appearing in this show. Another thing that does get me excited for this is some of the directors, with Watts himself directing, and at least one episode being directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, and at least one more being directed by the Daniels, the duo behind one of my favourite movies in recent memory, Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's going to be 8 episodes, and it's expected to release early in 2024 because it was originally supposed to release this year, but it got pushed back. I'm going to predict we get a trailer for it though before the end of the year. I'm basing that on absolutely nothing, however. Next up is The Acolyte. Now, this is going to be set towards the end of the High Republic era, and it follows a former Padawan investigating a series of sinister crimes. Now, this is the show that I am dying for more information on. I managed to watch the leaked version of the trailer that was shown at Star Wars Celebration earlier this year. I watched it a couple of months ago. I haven't been able to find it since. It seems to be scrubbed from the internet, but I really liked what I saw. Going back to a completely different era, especially one that we haven't seen in live action before, it was incredibly refreshing. Seeing a ton of Jedi on screen, ton of lightsabers, Sith, it reminded me the most of that prequel era. This show has a great cast as well, with people like Amandla Stenberg, Lee Jong-jae from Squid Game, Manny Jacinto from The Good Place, Dean Charles Chapman from Game of Thrones, Daphne Keane, who was Laura in Logan, Juna Swartmo, who is the new Chewbacca, is going to be playing a Wookiee Jedi named Kalnaka in this, and of course, Carrie Ann Moss of the Matrix fame is going to be playing a Jedi. I can't wait for this show. I think it's going to be amazing. I remember the showrunner Leslie Headland pitching the show as Frozen meets Kill Bill, and I'm going to throw in a little bit of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon just from what I've seen of it, and I'm really excited. I hope we get more news of this one soon. It's confirmed to be 8 episodes long. Andor Season 2, the second and final season of Andor. This show will cover 5 years before Rogue One, with each arc of episodes being its own separate year. So the episode arcs will go along and will be time jumping a lot in this season, and they've basically said that the last 3 episodes will be the last 3 days before Rogue One begins, with the final shot of the series directly connecting to the movie. Originally, Andor was planned to have 5 seasons worth of content, but apparently the scale of it was just so big and the budget would have just been astronomical that they had to scale it down massively. I hope it doesn't affect the quality of it, however, because in my opinion, Season 1 of Andor is the best piece of Star Wars media that we've gotten. I really love it. I'm rewatching it now for the 4th time. I really hope the second season delivers. It'll be 12 episodes and it's rumoured to air in August of 2024. Now, The Bad Batch Season 3 is supposed to come out next year. It's also going to be the final season of The Bad Batch. It's supposed to air next year. Seems a bit too soon to me because Season 2 feels like it just ended, but I'd say it's likely to be December of next year, if it is going to be next year. I have literally no other information on this show as of right now. I will say I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't air until 2025 though. Moving on to games, Star Wars Outlaws is an open world / open galaxy game from Massive Entertainment and Ubisoft, where you play as a scoundrel named Kay Vess as she makes her way through the galaxy. There's a few gameplay videos of this one already out there, along with a developer dive and interview, which has a lot of cool information in it. It looks pretty solid. I'm keen for it. I do hope it's not as bloated as other Ubisoft games like Assassin's Creed, but I am always keen and down to play a Star Wars video game. Now onto the books. Phase 3 of the High Republic kicked off this year, but we'll be getting a slew of books next year, such as Escape from Valo, where a group of Jedi younglings are trapped behind Nihil enemy lines in what is called the Occlusion Zone. Temptation of the Force, no cover art yet, is set to come out in June, and we've got a fantastic cover for Defy the Storm by Tessa Gratton and Justina Ireland. I absolutely adore this cover. And Tears of the Nameless, again, no cover yet. This will close out the year, which is also written by George Mann, who wrote Eye of Darkness, which comes out this year on November 14th. We'll also be getting a book from John Jackson Miller, who wrote fantastic books like the Kenobi Legends book, read it if you haven't, it's amazing. And the canon book A New Dawn, which showcases Hera and Kanan's first meeting together. And The Living Force is going to be a book that is set before The Phantom Menace, which follows the 12 Jedi Council members of that period as they all go out on an important mission. Now, I've heard that each chapter is actually going to be the point of view of a different council member. I don't remember where I heard that, but I do hope it's true. But I've enjoyed this guy's other book, so I can't wait for this one as well. And I think that's most of the stuff. I'm sure there'll be other comics and stuff, and maybe some like Young Jedi Adventures that I'm forgetting about, but I'm sure there's other stuff out there that's coming. But what are you most excited to see from Star Wars in 2024? For me, it's going to be a toss-up between probably Andor Season 2 and The Acolyte. Those are the two things I just cannot wait for. Anyway, thank you for watching. Follow me here and on TikTok. May the Force be with you, always.